Chapter 1. The Sound in the Walls. The moment Dr. Evelyn Harrow stepped onto the cracked stone steps of the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, she heard it, a faint tapping beneath the earth, rhythmic and insistent, as if someone were knocking from below. The asylum had long been abandoned, a 242,000 square foot relic swallowed by time and stories no one dared to speak aloud. Evelyn was a forensic psychiatrist by trade with a fascination for the deranged. She had come not for a ghost tour, but to uncover the mystery of Patient 441, a man committed in 1903 who had scratched his entire confession into the padded walls of Cell C2, using only his fingernails. What intrigued her most? His body was never found. Just blood, the markings, and that final sentence carved deeper than the rest. She's still in the basement. As Evelyn's flashlight flickered and the wind howled through the iron-barred windows, something in the dark mimicked her breathing. Chapter 2. The Watcher in Ward D. The first night, Evelyn slept inside the asylum's caretaker room, despite her assistant Ben warning against it. It wasn't the drafty halls or the groaning pipes that kept her awake. It was the sound of someone dragging chains down the hallway at exactly 3:12 a.m. The next morning, she reviewed the asylum's ancient blueprints and noticed something odd. Ward D wasn't listed. Yet, when she followed the trail of blood-colored moss behind a sealed-off iron gate, she found it. Cold, rotten, forgotten. Inside Ward D was a mirror, cracked, ornate, and covered in deep gouges. As she looked into it, Evelyn didn't see a reflection. She saw a girl in a straitjacket screaming silently, banging on the glass from the inside. Then, the scratching began, from behind the mirror. Chapter 3. Lobotomy Room 6. Ben was the first to vanish. He had gone into the lobotomy wing alone, determined to debunk the phantom scalpel myth, a tale about a surgeon who kept operating on ghosts long after he died. Evelyn found Ben's camcorder near a rusted gurney, still recorded. The footage showed him walking into room 6, and then the camera suddenly spinning as if torn from his hands. No screams, just the sound of wet slicing and the whisper, "Open his mind. Let her in." Evelyn traced the scent of bleach and rot to a blood-stained tray. There, lying neatly beside surgical tools that hadn't been touched in 80 years, were Ben's eyes. Chapter 4. The Hall of Static. Evelyn tried to leave. The doors wouldn't open. Her phone was fried. Every clock in the asylum now read 6:66. Desperate, she climbed to the third floor's west wing, the children's ward. A strange hum filled the hall. It came from dozens of ancient televisions stacked along the walls. None were plugged in, but all displayed the same girl in a white dress, staring. On screen, she raised a hand, and so did Evelyn's shadow behind her. Then the TVs all whispered in unison. "Do you want to remember who you are?" The lights burst. Evelyn fell backward, and when she opened her eyes, she was no longer wearing her clothes. She was in a 1950s asylum gown, and her wrists were bruised, as if from years of restraints. Chapter 5. The Basement Door. Evelyn finally descended the spiral stairs into the basement. The air grew colder with each step. On the final landing, she found Cell X, the one never recorded in asylum documents. Its door was locked from the inside. And then, it opened. Inside was a mural of madness, hundreds of symbols carved into the stone, bleeding faintly as if alive. In the center, standing barefoot in a pool of old blood, was the girl from the mirror. But she was no longer a child. She was something older, twisted. "Thank you for coming back," she said. "You promised you'd return before they took your memories." Suddenly, Evelyn remembered things she never knew. Electroshock tables, forced sedation, and a voice screaming her own name from deep inside the halls.
Chapter 6. Patient 441. The files on Patient 441 had been scattered across 3 different archives, each with pages blacked out or torn. But deep in the records annex, behind a false wall hidden by bookcases, Evelyn found the unredacted version and a single photo. A man with hollow eyes and a stitched mouth. The date, 1903. Name, unknown. But what made Evelyn's blood freeze was the note scrawled in the margins in faded pencil. Looks just like Harrow. Possible relation? She stared at it for a long time. Her grandfather had worked at a psychiatric facility. No one had ever said which one. The air around her turned bitter, and then a whisper came from the record cabinet, not behind it, from inside it. "You were born here." Chapter 7. The Echo Room. Determined to uncover more, Evelyn entered what staff used to call the Echo Room, a chamber padded from floor to ceiling, built for patients who would not stop screaming. The moment she stepped inside, the door slammed shut. Then, silence. No matter how hard she screamed, pounded, cried, the room swallowed every sound, and then it returned them. Not hers, but hundreds of others. Screams, laughter, a man sobbing and muttering, "Don't let her out! Don't let her out! Don't!" The padding on the far wall tore open on its own, revealing a crawl space. Inside, she found the skeletal remains of a nurse clutching a journal. Its final entry: "We should never have opened the basement." Chapter 8. The Portrait Hall. The main corridor on the second floor had once displayed oil paintings of the asylum's founders and prominent doctors. Most had been removed, all but one, a woman in black holding a book of shadows, her eyes following Evelyn wherever she moved. The plaque read, "Dr. Margaret Harrow, Chief of Psychiatric Innovations, 1901-1910, her great-grandmother." Evelyn blinked, and the portrait blinked back. The air grew sharp. One by one, the other paintings reappeared on the walls as if the building itself remembered them. Some figures had bleeding eyes, others had mouths sewn shut. One was headless. The walls bled faintly beneath the frames, and then the figures moved inside the canvas. Chapter 9. The Unmaking. Her memories began to fracture. Evelyn started seeing herself walk in the halls in black and white, like old film reel footage burned into her brain. She remembered patients screaming her name. She remembered the screws tightening on electroshock machines, her hand pulling the lever. She had not come to investigate this place. She had come home. The asylum was not haunted by ghosts. It was haunted by her. The actions of her ancestors, the blood in her own veins. And something still waited in the sub-basement, beneath the ground, where they had sealed the Black Room in 1911. Chapter 10. The Black Room. She broke through the floor with tools from the old maintenance wing. The stone gave way to stairs, slick with black mold and rot. The deeper she went, the more the walls seemed to breathe. The Black Room was circular, lined with mirrors facing inward. In the center stood a metal chair with blood-caked straps. There, she found Ben, alive, eyes gouged out, whispering in a language she didn't know. The girl stood beside him, older now, wiser, evil made flesh. "You created this," she said. The mirrors showed Evelyn not as she was, but as dozens of versions of herself. Nurse, doctor, patient, Child, you've always been here." The girl reached out, and Evelyn took her hand. Chapter 11. The Ritual. In the mirrors of the Black Room, Evelyn watched her other selves perform acts too gruesome to speak aloud. One version bled patience to cleanse the mind. Another chanted in Latin while a man's soul shriveled inside his eyes. The girl pointed at the ceiling. "They made me this way, but you finished it." On the walls, symbols began to glow. Ancient markings Evelyn now understood. She dropped to her knees and recited the words she had once thought were hallucinations. The ground split beneath her. Screams poured from the rift. She felt her bones turn to ice. From the shadows emerged a figure in chains. Patient 441. He knelt before her and whispered, "Welcome back, Doctor Harrow." Chapter 12. The Flood. The asylum began to convulse, as though it had become a living thing. Blood wept from the walls. Doors swung open. Forgotten patients, or what remained of them, wandered the halls in silence. A black fog crawled through every vent and crack, spreading madness. Outside, the sky split open and lightning struck the clock tower repeatedly. No time passed. Evelyn ran through the corridors, pursued by the girl and the patient, who now moved like shadows. Rooms shifted behind her. Stairs moved. Doors disappeared. Each hallway she entered brought her deeper into her mind and her guilt. In the children's wing, she found names on every wall. Her name. Chapter 13. The Revelation. In the morgue, Evelyn found a dusty drawer labeled 441. She opened it and found her own baby blanket inside. Beneath it, an ancient reel of film. She played it on the asylum's rusted projector. It showed a young girl strapped to a chair. A nurse, her mother, administered electric shock. Her screams echoed across time. Then the girl changed. Her hair darkened, her eyes turned black, and she smiled. The lights exploded. The projector melted. Evelyn turned and saw the girl now standing inches from her. "You made me. Let's finish it." Chapter 14. The Return. Evelyn accepted what she had denied all along, that she had been a patient here once, that the Harrow family had experimented on her and sealed away her memories. The girl was not a ghost. She was Evelyn's rage, her trauma, her split mind, but now she was whole. Together they walked to the highest floor. The asylum opened its windows, letting in a final gust of freezing air. Shadows clung to Evelyn's skin like smoke. The girl whispered one last word, "Ascend." And Evelyn leapt from the window. Ebede Warbawai. Only to awaken in her body once more, lying on the asylum floor, alone, or so she thought. Chapter 15, Open Forever. Evelyn now runs the asylum. Visitors who dare to explore it never return the same. Some don't return at all. Those who do speak of mirrors that scream and rooms that shift when no one is looking. She smiles as another group of investigators enters. She welcomes them in her white coat, her name badge glowing softly. Dr. E. Harrow. And beneath the building, in the darkness, a voice endlessly repeats, "Open forever, open forever, open forever." The asylum breathes. The story never ends.